Well, it's all Hallows Eve in Canada. Christopher Freeland's getting ready to get on the broom. Mark Carney, a skeleton in his closet. He actually looks like one of them anyway. And, well, it is game six tonight for the Blue Jays. Go, Jays, go. And also, it's the first sip. Welcome. And this is our only episode today because of the game tonight, and of course, because it's Halloween. But happy Halloween, Canada, or maybe not so happy if you've looked at what's really going on in this country, because today's episode isn't just about, the big bad Donald Trump, because honestly, he's proving he doesn't really care about us. It's about the trick being played on Canadians by our own leaders. They want you to think that the problem is Trump's temper, his true social posts, his tariffs, his tweets. But the real trick is happening right here at home between Mark Carney in Ottawa, Doug Ford in Queen's Park, and now David Eby out west, of course, as well. They've turned North American politics into a very bad high school play that Zac Efron wouldn't even star in. One's pretending to be the hero, the other is pretending to be the big rebel, sending crazy edited commercials into the US, and the third's pretending to be both of them. I don't really know what's going on with Eby, but the ending is always the same. Canada loses ground, and Americans barely have to lift a finger. Let's go.
Welcome to Bakes on Things.
Welcome back to Bakes on Things. I'm Chris Baker. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It is the first sip this morning. Have a spooky conversation down below. Let's do that, right? And of course, happy game six for tonight. We've been sold a fairy tale, haven't we? Where Donald Trump is the big bad wolf threatening poor little Canada. We're told we need to stand up to Donald Trump, hold firm. Our relationship's over. It's terrible. He's a terrible man. Protect our sovereignty. Sounds great in a speech, doesn't it? It worked for Mark Carney through the election and even before that. The only problem is that none of that actually happens here. None of that has happened in Canada whatsoever. We haven't stood up to him at all. What's really happening is this. Trump gets angry at Canada, as he should be for those commercials, threatens new tariffs, and instead of pushing back hard, our prime minister just folds, okay, well, I guess we'll move on, softens his tone, and then quietly gives away leverage, like it was kind of the plan all along. He calls this diplomacy. I call it political surrender dressed up as sophistication, or maybe even just planned destruction. And you can bet Doug Ford and David Eby know exactly what's happening. They're toeing the line. They're cheering on their buddy in Ottawa. But they play their roles perfectly, don't they? Ford does his "I'm fighting for jobs, folks" routine, while Eby plays protector of the coast and climate, or at least pretends to. Again, don't know his deal. But both of them rely on Ottawa to take the real heat. And both of them look the other way when Canada's negotiating power gets sold off like discount candy the day after Halloween. It's just the way this country seems to work right now. And I'm kind of starting to get to the point where I really am hoping for the government to fall during the budget. I don't really want an election either, but it's kind of needed at this point. This is going nowhere and it's spinning in circles. We are circling the drain. The real trick is not that Trump is unpredictable. That's been his brand for years. That's how he works, how he worked in business. It's not new to anybody. The real trick is that Carney keeps pretending he's the adult in the room while governing like a student council president who's afraid to make a mess or make any change. He talks about crisis, urgency, and building for the future, but then hops on a plane and goes elsewhere and just signs memorandums of understanding. And every time Canada faces a deadline, he just punts it down the road, especially if it has to do with the US. Trade deadlines missed, energy projects stalled, fast-tracked national interest projects are all projects that were already underway. The new ones are still waiting for their fast track at all, and they haven't seen it. It's as if Ottawa and Queen's Park are both operating on the same strategy. Talk very, very tough, but delay everything and then pray that the public forgets the next time Donald Trump does something seemingly crazy. Meanwhile, Trump just keeps doing what Trump does best, negotiating deals and bringing in an investment, pushing back. And right now, nobody in this country is pushing back on him. Nobody. Not Carney, not Ford, not David Eby. And then Trump just goes to South Korea, gets the crown jewels, which is clearly the button to push with him, and gets a 300 plus billion-dollar trade deal with South Korea. By the way, Mark went there too and came home with nothing, just so you know. So here's the scene. Carney's wearing the statesman costume. Ford's got his working man mask on. And Eby's wearing the I'm kind of the village idiot mask. I don't know. Progressive visionary. Is that what he wants to call it? Either way, they pose for cameras, issue tough sounding statements. Oof, they're tough guys. And then vanish into the Ottawa fog once the real decisions start. The truth is, Canada's political leadership class is unified by just one thing: the cheese falling off the cracker. Nope, that's Doug Ford's thing. Timidity. They'll stand up to journalists, they'll fight each other in the press, and then when it comes to the United States, they just tiptoe through the tulips like kids sneaking candy before bed. Carney had one job he needed to do in the first 8 months of his role: rebuild the relationship with the U.S. while defending Canadian strength at the same time. Get along with our biggest partner to the south. Instead, we got a prime minister who just lets the Americans walk all over us. They dictate the pace and tone, and premiers who act like distant cousins trying to grab a soundbite from the sidelines. That's not negotiation at all. That's just national theater, and the Americans are laughing at us. They think we're ridiculous, and they should. I love Americans. I love what they're doing. I love how the country's starting to build back. That's the thing we need to do. We need citizens to stand up here and to push back against this government for doing absolutely nothing. And then let's go back to the leverage for a second, because Canada did have some, Energy, agriculture, manufacturing, all the potash, all of it gives us real power at the table, not just with the US, but around the world. But instead of using that power, we get memorandums of understanding where Carney goes there, signs it, and moves on. Carney caves early in every negotiation. He's dropped key counter tariffs and bragged about de-escalation, but then we had nothing left. That's like walking out of a poker game bragging that you folded faster than everybody else. This makes no sense. This strategy, I thought he was a master negotiator. I thought he was the only guy who could negotiate this. And Doug Ford, meanwhile, couldn't resist running a PR campaign in the middle of serious trade talks while they were getting closer, supposedly, in some sectors. He tried to look tough by quoting Ronald Reagan in an ad about protectionism right as Ottawa was trying to finalize sectoral details with Washington. It's like trying to do marriage counseling while your spouse isn't even in the office and is instead live tweeting about you with insults from the driveway. And David Eby, the man preaches sustainability daily and federal accountability, but then has he sped up a single energy or resource project that could strengthen our hand with the U.S. out there? Not one. I haven't seen a thing happen out there. Instead, British Columbia keeps delaying, reviewing, and virtue signaling on absolutely everything, all while pretending that Canada can somehow negotiate from some sort of position of, weakness? This doesn't make sense. What kind of negotiating strategy does Canada have here right now? And by the way, it's not working. It worked for South Korea to give Donald Trump jewels. He got a deal done for $300 billion plus in trade. If that's how you have to deal with Trump, that's how you have to deal with Trump. Give him a nice hockey stick. Anyway, here we are, Canada, Halloween. Every politician's wearing a mask, aren't they? Carney, Ford, Eby, sounds like all liberals, all pretending that there's something that they're not. And just like any haunted house, the scariest part isn't the ghost that jumps out of the closet, Diana Fox Carney. It's realizing that the floor beneath you is slowly collapsing out from underneath. We're supposed to believe that our leaders are standing up to Donald Trump. But when you pull back the curtain, they're standing up to no one. They're just posing for headlines. And if I was Donald Trump, I'd be just as angry too, because he likes to be stood up to. He likes the fight of negotiations. The irony, Trump actually respects the strength. If Canada ever showed real resolve, if we stood firm and said, here's what's best for our country and here's what we won't compromise on, he might actually take us seriously and negotiate. Trump would probably respect that. He's already even admitted he maybe shouldn't have supported Carney. But Carney and his team don't believe in confrontation. They believe in just bowing down and doing whatever he says. They believe in the optics of just being there for the press conference. They care more about being liked by people here in Canada than being respected. And that's a bad, bad thing because it means we get absolutely nothing done. It works temporarily. It gets you the votes. It makes your polls look good. But in the end, you got nothing done. And Canada should have been prepared to play this hardball with Donald. We should have leveraged our resources, coordinated across provinces, and made the Americans need our partnership because we need them too. And we've been great friends for our entire history. Instead, we've become the predictable neighbor who gives in every time. We don't get respect that way. We get ignored. And then we go start making angry commercials that we put on other people's airwaves, like World War II propaganda. Ford should have kept Ontario focused on building export resilience instead of throwing ads and tantrums across the border. He can say two hoots all he wants. It's not going to solve a problem. And Eby should have pushed to fast track LNG and critical minerals instead of endless consultation cycles. And Carney should have led a united front among all of us. Instead, you've got provinces going willy-nilly, putting things on the air in other countries. That's not the provinces working together like you promised. Instead, they all chose the same easy path for them. Talk tough, act slow, do whatever the hell you want. Mark Carney's not paying attention. He just approved this for me. All is good. Don't worry. I'm proud of that ad. What? And then you have other premiers saying it was stupid. So really, Mark, you promised the country was going to work together. You had all these meetings with all the premiers, and here we are. And this is where this rant lands because it's not just about politics, it's about honesty. He was lying the whole time. And if Trump is the Halloween villain here, fine. Some of you liberals want to believe that. He's not the one stealing Canada's progress. He's not that one. You can think he's evil all you want. The real thieves are the ones inside our own house, the ones tricking Canadians into thinking it's all Donald Trump's fault. They're the evil ones. This Halloween, remember this. The scariest thing in politics is not the chaos, it's complacency. And Trump will keep being Trump. There's no question about that. He's not going to change. He's loud, he's unpredictable, and he's transactional, but he respects a fight. But Carney, Ford, and Eby, they're the quiet ones behind the curtain, trading away Canada's position while telling you they're saving it, going in 17 different directions. So you think we're going to get respect for that? If you're looking for the biggest trick of all this Halloween, look no further than Canada, not the US. Because while the US might be led by a showman, Canada's being run by illusionists. And unless Canadians wake up right away, we'll keep getting fooled every single time by Mark Carney and all of his little skeletons. We'll get fooled into thinking the real danger lives in Washington. And the answer is truly that it doesn't. Because he's moved on. He's dealing with all the other countries. He's signing deals all around the world. Don't buy the costume. Don't fall for the mask. And don't let anyone tell you this was Trump's doing. The trick is right here in Canada, in our own backyard. Happy Halloween, Canada. Thanks so much for watching Bakes on Things, the first sip. It's the only sip, I guess, today because we will not have an episode this evening, so you can go and enjoy Game 6, Go Jays Go, and of course the trick-or-treaters as well as they come to your doors in the crazy cool costumes. Have a safe night. Make sure your kids have a safe night. Please watch out for the kids if you're out driving because they're going to be all over the place, hopped up on candy and excited. So please be careful, and we will catch you tomorrow on the Weekend Wrap, Saturday morning. Have a great Friday. Go Jays Go.